Hello and welcome back to Revealing Revelation, where we get to the heart of the mysteries of prophecy. My name is Alain Dubreuil. If you're new to the ministry and you're listening to this right now for the first time, enjoy it, seek it, and search it out. But also remember to go back and watch these in order, one by one. We designed them to all be in bite-sized amounts so people could take them in, seek them, and search them out. And if you like these teachings, like, share, and subscribe. We have in the description box under every single teaching, we have translated these teachings into 10 other languages, not just closed captions, but literal translations in voice for 10 other languages to help us share with family and friends and people we meet all across the world. With that, in the last teaching, we talked about the revelation of the differences within the synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. That the last will be first and the first will be last, meaning Matthew, Mark, Luke, in the end will be Luke, Mark, Matthew. And the difference in the meaning of their differences within their gospels is all about the mysteries of prophecy. And today, I said we would go into the Discourses, and we will spend a number of teachings in the Discourses, but we're going to focus today's on the three comings of the Lord mentioned in Luke's Discourse, chapter 21, in Mark's Discourse, chapter 13, and in Matthew's Discourse in chapter 24. Let's get into it and prepare to have your minds blown because it is extremely exciting. In Luke chapter 21, we see in verse 25, all of their conversations are different about the comings of the Son of Man. Listen to Luke 21:25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the seas and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the coming of the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when they see these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Do you know that this word for redemption in Luke chapter 21, this redemption, G629 in the Greek, is only found in Luke's gospel, not in Mark and not in Matthew anywhere? Now watch this. This coming of the Son of Man, the Son of Man coming in a cloud, the word cloud is singular. And the word in is the Greek word 1722, which does mean in. But the word cloud is singular. Now watch this. In Mark's Discourse, chapter 13, listen to how it explains it. In Mark 13, starting in verse 24, it said, but in those days after that tribulation. So it's now you have the word tribulation, which you're going to see is found in Mark's gospel and in Matthew's. But do you know the word tribulation, the Greek 2347, is found nowhere in the gospel of Luke? There's a reason for it. But it says after that tribulation, not the end of all tribulation. Up to this time is what it's saying. That's what the meaning is, after that tribulation. Look at what it says. The stars of heaven shall fall. Remember that for a little later. Verse 26, listen to this. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. It's the same Greek 1722, but clouds is plural. It's not the same coming as Luke's. It's a separate one. Now you ready for this? Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. In Matthew chapter 24, we'll start in verse 27, and you're going to want to remember that verse for what I'm going to show you after. In verse 27, it says, for as the lightning lighteth out of the east and shineth unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. This word for coming is the description for the literal coming of the Son of Man, feet down on the Mount of Olives, when he is seen from one end of heaven unto the other. This word, G3952, is only used 4 times in the Gospel of Matthew, and all 4 times in the Gospel of Matthew is in chapter 24. This word, that's used 24 times total in the New Testament, is found nowhere in Luke or in Mark. Yes, you guessed it. There's a reason. You'll remember that one. Now verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. You see that? Now we're talking about immediately after the tribulation. Not that tribulation, but the tribulation. Now listen to what it says. Partway through 24 verse 30. And then shall the tribes of heaven mourn, and they shall see the coming of the Son of Man in the clouds. Now that on paper looks the same as Mark's. But when you have the Strong's Concordance at your fingertips, like I do right here with the KJV Plus in this eSword program I'm using, you find out that this word in is not the in from Luke and Mark of him being in the clouds with 1722 in the Greek. It's the Greek word 1909, which means on. This in Matthew is the coming of the Son of Man on the clouds, when he will be seen as lightning from one end unto the other at his coming immediately after the tribulation of those days. Oh my goodness. There are 3 comings of the Lord, brothers and sisters, and let me prove it to you a little more. In Luke chapter 17, starting in verse 24, we get all 3 of them revealed. He starts with the last one. For as lightning lighteth out of one part of heaven and shineth unto the other part of heaven, so shall the Son of Man be in his day. Remember I said, remember Matthew 24 verse 27. This is about his coming from when he's going to be seen on the clouds as lightning from one end unto the other. He starts with that in verse 24. But then listen to what he says in verse 25. But first must he suffer many things and be rejected of this generation, meaning the final generation. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, and were given in marriage until the day Noah entered the ark and the flood came and destroyed them all. This but first is not the Noah story of Matthew 24 at the end of it. It is the one that is referencing something that happens at the beginning, at but first. And it represents the 40 days of Noah's flood, when chaos erupts. Well, are you ready for this? Do you know in Luke chapter 21, in verse 10, it says, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There'll be great earthquakes and famines and pestilence. And look at verse 12, only found in Luke's discourse. But before all these, meaning before nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, there is a period of time that happens first, and it's connected to what? The coming of the Son of Man in a cloud. Connected to 40 days as Noah's. Well, guess what? What comes before nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom? What is nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom? Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom begins at the second seal, red horse rider. It says that this red horse rider, power was given to him to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. What is this? This is nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. So what but first comes before nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom? You guessed it, the white horse rider. The Son of Man is coming near the beginning as the white horse rider before nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Do you know that Mark's discourse, starting in verse 8, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, earthquakes, famines, troubles, these are the beginnings of sorrows. There is no but first. This begins the red horse rider after Luke's discourse. Mark's discourse begins at the red horse rider. Now watch this. Do you know Mark 13 has an abomination of desolation that's different than Matthew's? The abomination of desolation in Mark's is the one that's about the mark of the beast. Let me prove it to you. In Luke 17, we know that the Lord is coming a second time before he comes. Remember, before he comes, lastly, is lightning from one end to the other. And it starts in Luke 17:28. Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot, they bought, they sold, until he rained down fire from heaven. Then was the Son of Man revealed. This is the one connected to Mark's discourse at the coming of the Son of Man in the clouds. But what were they doing before he rains down fire from heaven? They bought and they sold. Do you know that this word bought and sold from Luke 17 is the bought and sold Let me show it to you. It's the bought and sold G59 and sold G4453. It's the same one, which is the mark of the beast. When they buy and sell at the time of the mark of the beast, buy G59, sell G4453. The abomination of desolation in Mark's discourse is the buying and selling of the mark of the beast until it's all destroyed at the coming of the Son of Man in the clouds, which is exactly why what? In Mark's discourse, it says the stars of heaven shall fall at the coming of the Son of Man in the clouds. And in Revelation 6, at the end of the sixth seal, and the stars of heaven shall fall unto the earth. And when is it? They're crying, rocks and mountains fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, for it is the great day of the wrath of the Lord. Do you know that in Matthew chapter 24, there is another abomination of desolation that takes place? And that's because the abomination of desolation in Matthew is because the temple will have been rebuilt in the first portion of trumpets. And then what happens is we see at that great abomination of desolation, then the Son of Man is coming again as lightning from one end unto the other, which says immediately after the tribulation of those days is when he's going to be seen coming on the clouds. And it says it will be with a great sound of a trumpet. Do you know what trumpet that is? Of course, it's the one he said from Luke 17:24, when he will be seen as lightning from one end unto the other, as Matthew 24:27. Look at what it says. That trumpet sound is the immediately after found in Revelation 11:15. At the sound of when the seventh angel sounded, there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. And it's confirmed to us in Revelation chapter 10, verse 7, but in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he had declared it unto his servants the prophets. Why? Because he will be seen as lightning from one end unto the other. Brothers and sisters, take your time, seek it out, search it, go through and study these things for yourselves. I pray it blesses you and you will share it with many others. God bless you. God bless your families. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.